Beautiful souls, how art thou today? It is May 29th, 2019. So I'm on here and I decided to come on here tonight to kind of give some updates, and also I'm going to have Kelly. She's going to join me. We have been going through some enormous amount of changes. Greetings, Jordan. How art thou? Going through so many changes for this past week, and going through, I would say, like anger, frustration, and all that stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit, and also see if we want to come into a nice little sacred space. I have some tea here, and I'm also playing some classical music. So let me wait until some more of us come on here. And if you need to get your tea, and if you're in your pajamas, I say blessed night, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are, great evening, whatever time zone it's in. I know that I thought I wanted to go to sleep, and then my body said, no, you're not. And so I'm here awake, going through all these ascension symptoms, changes, and also releasing people who, or someone in particular, that's trying to control me. So have any of you been experiencing that for yourselves, where we're pushing through anyone that has been, or could be a group of people that has been trying to control you, trying to tell you what to do? It's like we're going through some series of final stages, and I realize that, thank you, I'm using a filter actually. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. I'm glad that you love the classical music. It's always good to listen to the classical music because it helps to shift through the energy, and it lifts up your vibration, and it comes right into the heart center. So Sharon plays all kinds of music. So let's listen to it for a little bit before I start speaking, you know. This is Waltz of the Roses. I happen to have found this one, and it's like a romance classical type of music. So I have this on my playlist on my iPod, and this playlist consists of romance classical music of all sorts. So how's everyone doing today? How's everyone being today? Hope you're well and that you're able to push through. I've said this again and again, that you're not alone in this process. So I want to start out again by giving a shout out to all of you, whether you're a mother, whether you are a father, have kids, no kids, if you're trekking through, if you're pregnant, if you are facing situations to do with your employment status, your relationship statuses, everything and all things that does not serve your highest purpose, it's time to let it go. If you find yourself struggling with the type of work that you do and you're not in a happy place, or you're not feeling contented or fulfilled, it's time to shift, or maybe you love what you do, but then you just don't like the place where you're at with it. So time to move into another location and another venue or another place. So I usually, in case you don't know, I'm Sharon Andrea. And I usually, whatever readings that I do for the week, I'm able to collect the data on what's happening in the collective. And and usually with whatever is happening in the collective, 9 times out of 10, you may be going through this experience. Maybe you're not. Maybe it's going to catch up to you, because some of us are coming in different aspects of these experiences in waves, okay? So right now, I believe Mars is in Cancer, and we are in, the sun is in Gemini. And so Gemini, represents communication, the mental space, also the twins. So there's a lot of things that are coming up to do with twin souls. And there's another name that carries a higher frequency, the soul flame, or I prefer to say true love, okay, the true love template. And so with that, there are many of you that may be feeling that you're at the end of your rope. You're at the end of this, and you may have been processing through anger, because I said earlier in the conversation that I too was processing through some anger, depression, sadness, disappointment, fed up. I consider myself to be on this journey way before, my divine masculine found me in the physical world. Okay. And so for me, this is like something I've been experiencing with so many things for 20 something years. So yes, I'm 20. 20 years. So I would say from the time I incarnated, but still, fun and joke aside, it has been like what we call bitch hell. Okay. And because we are integrating more of our light body into our physical body, you're going to feel more stuff coming up through your physical body. You're also going to feel more things happening with yourself that you're feeling what your divine counterpart may be feeling. And then you're also feeling, especially if you're in the divine feminine space. But what I found to be interesting is that for the past few days, I felt myself as if I was processing through things as the divine masculine. And so what that tells me is that it's not subjected to just being, if you embody most of the feminine energy. So the masculine energy is going through so much of these major rewrites. Okay. And when I say rewrite, reprogramming, that includes anything to do with what one may have control over. It may be decision making. It could be anything that involves taking action or no action at all, what you've been used to in the past. Also things that you may have had to let go of in this masculine energy space I'm talking about. And so I usually say that in the masculine energy, we also find strength within ourselves through that feminine energy while embodying the masculine energy. So it's like we're integrating so much of this that some parts of this is not going to feel good and some parts of it is going to be like you're feeling great, and then the next moment you're not feeling so happy. 1 minute you may feel like you're enraged, and then the next minute you might feel you're at peace. So it's all the different aspects of these experiences that are filtering through on so many levels. So I found myself personally feeling all these emotions and feeling that I'm just like at the end of my rope, and it's not just to say, oh, everything's going to be all right. Oh, this is just a path. And, it's the longevity and how long. And I wish I could give a complete answer to how long. But the beautiful thing is that we are being supported by the divine, especially to the element of what's opening up in this greater energy that's coming through with the eclipse that's coming up. I believe it's sometime in July, the eclipse is coming up. And then in the month of June, we also have the summer solstice or the winter solstice. So what it does is that it's opening up another energetic gateway, especially for twins. And this is again what you're being prepared for, a bigger opening of what's coming together for yourself and your twin, because you see things are becoming more magnetized between the pairs, meaning that whatever parts of the world that you may be or wherever you are energetically, it's still pulling itself together because of what's coming through from the outer planets. And so one of the portals that is opening up or starting to open up is through is 6/6. So we already moved through 5/5/5. Now it's like the 6/6 energy. Now, when I think of 6/6, which of course I'm not speaking of the old fear template of 666, because 6/6 represents protons, neutrons, electrons. It also represents the human DNA. And so the DNA is being restructured. The DNA is being upgraded. Okay, we've already been going through levels of upgrade already from the time you started awakening, from the time you started incarnating. The more you are in a greater awareness, the more that you're awakening to yourself, is the more that you are breaking down the old energy that your body, your mind, and your spirit may be embodying. And what you're doing is it's going through, again, this rewrite programming, okay? And it's filtering through all of this. And energetically, it may affect your body in so many ways, okay? So with this energy that's opening up during the month of June, what it's doing is it's ushering in for many twins to come into a physical reunion, okay, space. And that means that as you are going through this, which I want you to bear this in mind, because based on the readings that I've done this week alone, I've never had so many divine feminines reach out to me to tell me what they were experiencing with their divine masculine, where sometimes they're like in a moment of they want to talk to them, be with them, and then all of a sudden they switch over to the other side, or they go into another space again. And I want you to understand, as I'm demonstrating this, is that your soul is coming together and it's magnetizing. And as it's magnetizing itself to come together, it's going to keep pushing through all of the elements of what doesn't serve the highest good, which includes the programming based on the 3D conscious relationships, okay? And also, if there's anything that is still out there to do with feeling trapped and enslaved, especially, that's been one of the major themes for this week. This could come from a mother energy, okay, where the mother is controlling, narcissistic, trying to tell that person what to do, who to be with, so on and so forth, or just out for blood, just out to get you, just it's this energy that's like it's pouncing. And then also there's templates of relationships that you could have with someone you work with, or it could be where you live. All that is this energy of trying to control, and it's almost like it's squeezing squeezing you so tightly, and it's coming through, especially with the divine masculine energy. Through the divine feminine energy is where we can hold that space of love and understanding and compassion, because even if your divine masculine is experiencing it, because the divine masculine, which could be still a male, someone in a male body, that may embody more of the divine feminine energy. So do understand that those who have more of the testosterone, the male body, they're feeling even deeper intensity in some way. The females now, we may be feeling a lot of action and stuff happening in the uterus. You might be feeling sleepiness. You might be having symptoms of things happening, like having more than one cycle, or cramping. Some people, you might be having headaches and tension, irritability, like feeling irritated. There may be some of you that you might find yourself going to the bathroom more often as well. You might have itchiness on the skin and rashes that are coming out. So it's a lot of things that are filtering through the cells of your body as well. You may find yourself sleeping longer hours, or not. I just got a chill in my body. Or you might find yourself not being able to sleep. Like, I really felt sleepy. Like, I felt like something was like making me feel like sleepy powder or something was coming onto me. And I said I was going to want to take a nap. And then I told Kelly, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do the live again, because I feel like I want to sleep and take a nap. Next thing you know, it's all gone. Like, I don't feel that anymore. So it's like there's different energies that are passing through each and every one of us, no matter where you are. Okay. So it's like your body is having to go through these waves of changes because of the reprogramming that's taking place. Okay. You may find yourself, again, disassociating from more people that are not resonating with how you feel, and it's okay. So you might find yourself feeling more isolated, not wanting to be around certain people. You may not want to talk to certain people anymore, and it's okay, because again, the major focus of what's happening is what is taking place for the new earth, what is actually physically templating on the physical earth plane. And with that comes a great letting go of things. Okay. And letting go of things could mean something is sacrificed. So it could be a relationship. You might even have some transitions taking place in your family, among your circle, with your friends. Everything and all things are being affected. Everything is responding and reactive to the frequencies of what's flowing through on the planet right now. Okay. So one of the things that I have been shown, definitely, is what it means for us when it comes to these relationships changes and the patterns of what's changing. And this includes the, how do I say this? How some people view a relationship for themselves. Okay. Like, a lot of times there's some who, males, they will think that, this female's trying to control me and trying to tell me what to do. And there are still maybe some lingering fears and resistance to not leaving their karmic relationships. But from what was shown to me is that there is a lot of closure of these loops that have been repeating themselves continuously for such a long time. And it also could be on the other side of the spectrum, because there are some males who are in masculine and feminine energy that are reconnecting to their sacred soul partner, and they're also working or have worked through things that have been like blocks to their own union space as well. If you are, say, in contact with your divine sacred partner, please understand that even if they're speaking with you or you're seeing them, you remember that you are still working through old energy as you're doing it together, because this is about you becoming even greater in your own self-mastery, and that person is doing the same thing. The union energy of what's coming through is for yourself and that person and the collective, okay? We're clearing so much stuff that's still lingering in the collective consciousness, okay? The collective consciousness can represent a group of who is around you in your location, or it could even be someone that is in your family, your group of your family on your side and your divine sacred partner side as well. So I just want you to know that there's so many things happening all at once, you know, because as we're bringing up the new energy, grounding the new energy, we're also releasing the old systems. And releasing the old systems means that you're going to be going up against the things of that were of the norm, okay? And the things of what was norm, of what they call normal, is not normal anymore, because it can no longer hold in that space any longer. And that's the reason why it's important to remain steadfast, stay in your power, speak your truth, walk your truth. This is how much more we're coming into a greater authenticity of the self, okay? And that means that as you're breaking ground with all of this, it is not going to be comfortable for those who may be in your circle. And that's too bad. So because what I know is that I'm focused so much on the newness of Earth and what it means for each and every one of us. So anyway, Kelly is on now. So I'm going to bring her on because we're both going to share our intimate stories and what she's also has received downloads to do with what's coming up in June, and also first Twin Souls. And also she has contact with Divine Masculine that I'm sure she's going to share. If we get cut off on the live and we still have more to share, we're going to continue speaking. So I just wanted to let you know. So I'm going to bring her on. Wait a minute. Kelly, I think you need to come back out and come back in again. So to send the request to me, because I don't see the request. So anyway, what else did I want to announce? I also wanted to announce, I've been guided by Spirit to announce this, for the entire month of June, I will be giving discounted readings, especially because of the how do I say, the importance of these sacred unions, what it means for me, what it means for all of us, because we're still doing this as a group. This is something that is so important on a large scale, everywhere, cosmically, okay? And so for the month of June, I'm going to be offering discounted rates on my 30-minute sessions and also my 60-minute sessions. For anyone who's getting a session from me for the first time, I always highly recommend an hour, because you will get a lot of information and it can be quite detailed and so on and so forth. So I'll be offering 30-minute sessions at a discount of $60, and 1 hour I will be dropping that to $120 for the entire month of June. So if you're interested in having a discounted reading, please send me an email at the Garden of Eden 1111 at gmail.com, or you can reach out to me either on Messenger or anything like that. You won't be able to get the discount on the website, so you'd have to reach out to me personally to receive this discount, okay? And I will honor the discount if you're not able to get the session in June if you purchase it in the month of June, okay? So I'm going to see if I can get Kelly on. Kelly, I don't know if you're there. I saw you came out. You have to come back in again. You have to exit and come back in again, because I don't see I only saw the thing to wave at you. So that's all I saw. So anyway, I'm going to keep speaking in the meantime until Kelly comes on to, oh, I see I see the button. Okay. Do you see it? Oh, I'm waiting for you to accept it. I think you have to accept it. There we go. There we go. Hi. Can you? Oh, shoot, it gone. You declined it. You have to come back again. Oh my gosh. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but it's not difficult. So just know that even during the course of your ascension, that electronic stuff are still going to be affected. Yes, they are. This is a part of the process, or process if you're, you know, British. Okay, we'll try again. Okay, waiting for you to accept. Okay, you have to accept it now, not decline.
Oh, okay. I haven't got it yet.
I can hear you. I see you.
It's just still saying send request, but I already have done that.
Yeah, but
So,
you're on because I could see you.
oh, you can? I can't see myself.
Yeah, yeah. You
Why
don't
is
see yourself?
no?
That's strange. Because I see you. Now it says it left. Oh my gosh. It says it left. Hopefully she'll be able to come back soon again. Um, anyway, so I'll keep speaking in the meantime until she comes back on again, because I would love for her to share with you what she's been experiencing as well, processing through her own frustration and anger, and how long I know many of us have been on our journeys. Just know that, you know, I said this to someone yesterday, it's like taking baby steps. And when you awaken to yourself on this path, it's like you come to this realization of who you are. And then it might feel kind of like scary at first because this is new for many of us. And, you know, it's like even I'm at this point where I don't even research anymore. I haven't recorded anymore for now. I mean, I know I will be. It's like taking in a new energy and a new frequency. And it's not something out there where there's a manual that says, oh, this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to do it. This is where it's going to be. It's just so much different changes that we're having to accept and move through it. And again, if you find yourself feeling the frustration, it's okay to feel the frustration. Just don't forget to bring yourself back to that circle, you know, to complete the circle. Completing the circle means that if you find yourself feeling the anger, the frustration, depression, then shift it over back onto another, how do I say it? To take it to the higher place in terms of remember the main reason why we are here, why we're here, what we are experiencing, what we're going through. That even again, as I've mentioned before, that if you are feeling isolated or let down by family and friends, that you do have your galactic family. You have your soul family that's here. You're part of my soul family. You know, we're doing this together. It's not separated. Because as we get closer and closer to a lot of these physical reunions that are coming into place, it's going to create a ripple effect on those who are kind of, I would say, pussyfooting around with this energy. I noticed that some of the things that I've been reading, especially too with the divine masculine energy, is the pressure that is happening. There's a lot of pressure. There's pain, and it has to do with coming into again that greater alignment of self and surrendering to God and surrendering to the path. Okay, I'm going to try again with Kelly. I think this is the third time. Okay, Kelly, let's see, Kelly. Let's see, Kelly. Well, I clicked the button.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, you got it?
I've got it. Yeah, I'm
All
here.
right, got it.
I'm here. Yes. I don't know.
Yes.
My Instagram was just really mucking around, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, you know, when the energies are coming together, you know, it's powerful stuff, you know. It is
Yeah.
powerful, and especially when you know, if you got my energy, your energy, and everybody else together, what's happening, it's gonna affect the electronics for sure. So I was just talking briefly and tell everyone, you know, decided to come on here and talk about, you know, what you've been experiencing, what I've been experiencing for this week, and how I was feeling the anger and frustration. You were in a good place. I wasn't, and I felt myself whenever I go through those feelings of sadness, depression, and then the anger comes in. You know, I just had to let myself just move, just to keep moving through it. And then you were in a good place, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to project my energy onto you. And you're like, no, it's okay, it's okay. And then you started feeling it today. So, so
Yeah.
I'm beginning to feel, based on that, because I didn't mention this to you, is that it's almost like all of us are like on a set of different spokes and strings, I guess the best way to describe it. And so we're still connected. All of us are connected and attached. And then some of us who are coming into this greater space and alignment of this union energy, it's in waves, that it's going in waves, but you know, between us. So some of us may start like we're up ahead with one thing, and some of it may seem like you come back again, and then you're coming forward again, and then it comes together, and then it pulls apart, and it, you know, that's what it looks like. I see how I see it in energy. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk about what you wanted to talk about, you know, because usually we say, oh, I don't feel good, I don't want to come and do no live. But
Well,
you know
yeah,
what?
that's right. I'm going to be honest. You know, I don't feel great today, and Sharon asked me to come on and do it, and I thought, yeah, because I'm keeping it real. You know, I mean, I think it's important for us not to just be always projecting that everything's
It's
rosy and everything.
wonderful. Exactly. It's a very intense journey.
Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
And Sharon's right. I've been doing really, really well for a long time, and you know, there hasn't been too much. Like, I've been reading a lot of the astrology stuff, and you know, I know about the waves and all, you know, things hitting the planet and stuff, and what I'm getting as well, and everything with downloads. And I've been pushing through it really well. And then I don't know if you mentioned before I came on, then my beautiful cat passed away a few days ago, and that was last Thursday, and that was a really traumatic day for me because
And it
I
was unexpected too. So
so unexpected. And I know
yeah.
people say it's a cat, it's an animal, but to me, she was our family, you know. And but it was unexpected because she was fine, and there was nothing wrong with her. And then and only hours before that happened, you know, I carried the neighbour's dead dog off the road after it had been hit and run in an you know, by a car. Um,
Hmm.
so it was a very, you know, and I'd sat with the neighbour's dog in their home with their kids until parents got home. Um, and I could feel, you know, I was doing this healing work and I was helping them, and I could feel the dog, like the soul leave the body, and I was, the dog was communicating with me, and I was able to bring some beautiful clarity and messages to the family because they were so distraught, and it was obviously just sudden because the dog had been beautiful meditation, and I sent them a lot of healing, and I was doing a whole thing for them. And then, you know, a couple of hours later, I go out and I'm holding my beautiful Daphne, you know, in my arms,
Hmm.
dead. So it both happened on the same day, and it was just, you know, really, I'm very connected to animals, and to have to be holding two dead animals in my arms within 4 hours like that, and the situation around it was really traumatic. And but it was, I knew, and Sharon also, as soon as she heard, she came forth with information that she'd received, and I knew there was a bigger picture. And then, you know, you told me that, you know, you'd been shown by spirit that the passing of them opened the portal, the light portal here, and was helping and whatnot. And there was a whole lot going on around that. And I knew when Daphne passed, there was a bigger picture, and I knew it was a bigger picture with my union as well, and our energies and just things, you know, going on. So I could see the bigger picture, but it was still, obviously, you know, it was
Hmm.
traumatic to
Hmm.
lose her like that, and then I had to bury her and everything. So so I went through that for a few days, and then I felt this incredible lift of, it was just beautiful, and it was like I was in this sacred bubble, euphoric bubble of like, just I'd let go of every single thing, in this
Mhm.
3D matrix world. And I had a few days of all that. And then I was in that,
But let me stop right there and point this out, because I know I briefly spoke about it on the live with Mike, that the day before that occurred with your cat transitioning and the dog transitioning, you had a dream to do with your divine masculine.
I
So
did,
the
yes,
key thing is to pay very close attention to what's happening in your energetic field with dreams and in the physical space. And because even the transition of the dog and the cat, ironically, they say dogs and cats always fight, but in this case it's a different scenario. And what happened is that the transition of the animals actually were assisting Kelly with her divine union space, her neighbors. It was creating their awakening, and also it was freeing energy in the entire region where she was, and that's what I was picking up on. So a lot of times when you do have these transitions taking place in your family circle or friend circle, that something is happening to free up energy, especially the emotional bondages that you might have, or any sadness you may still be carrying within your soul that you're not aware of, because you may not even realize how much more things that we hold inside, and it creates blocks to your union space. Okay. And so I said to her, I said, when she told me about the dream, I said, there is something to do with you connecting emotionally to your divine masculine in reference to his, the panicking that was showing in her dream. And the next day, and she was like, I'm fine, I feel great. And the next day, literally, that's when she broke down and everything was pouring out, even anger, because when we get a lot of sudden things that happen, through us, I prefer to say, it triggers something more. So you're going to feel the trigger of something that happens suddenly, whether it's death, or it could be a loss of a job, or someone saying, I'm moving away, I'm out of here, just something, because
yeah,
there's sometimes hidden things that are still there that must come out and must come through to the surface. So when we had the full moon in Scorpio, that triggered all of those deep emotional stuff that you could still be carrying. So that
yeah,
way it creates that freer energy for you. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
just wanted to explain that, so that way
yeah.
you have a greater awareness in case you are experiencing the same thing. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, and that's sort of what happened, and I just went with the emotions and the feelings, and there obviously, is, and I think what I wanted to say is that, yes, in this dream, I saw what I saw. They showed me in the dream what was happening, and I said to, with my divine masculine, and I said to Sharon, yeah, I'm fine, like, because she told me kind of what she could see that meant as well, and I said, well, I'm fine, I'm feeling really great. But then this happened, and when you're so closely connected, energetically, because you are, with that same energetic field with your one, it's like both are going to feel whatever. So even if you're feeling great, but they're going through something, it's going to somehow, it's still connected to you, and it's somehow, like you're just saying, it's going to come through in that other way as well, because usually, um, well, you explain it better, but what they're normally, because I'm also feeling a little bit, different today, as you know, I
Yes,
just jumped,
yes, I know.
but,
Yeah.
but usually what they're still got deep down, to heal, we have a part of us in us.
You're experiencing it too as well.
Yeah,
Exactly. And
yeah,
because what I notice is that if your sacred partner has to deal with something emotionally and they're not dealing with it, because usually, especially if those in the male body, they're told to keep it in, suck it up, be a
yeah,
man, be strong, so on and so forth. If it's coming from that space of being a man and so on and so forth, the divine feminine is going to feel the experience of what they're having. And so your soul is going to create that experience, so that energy pushes out once and for all to do with the both of you. So it is not separated. It's not separated anymore. It's like you're feeling it, because even what I was going through this week, I knew I was processing something in the masculine space. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, wow, that's just me being, me in my masculine space. And I know that whatever was triggering was happening between the both of us. It is not
Yeah.
separated. It's really actually, it's universally, happening. And the reason why more events may be created in your space, because it's so intense, and it's like we can't run away from it. It's going to keep pressing and pressing until you come to that greater surrender of what is the next step that you need to do, or where you need to be. Or it could be releasing guilt, because I had to release some guilt about something. Okay, because a lot of times there's some of us that may have guilt, feel guilty about, if you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or you don't want anything to go wrong, and you want to keep the peace, but sometimes that's not the best for you, and you got to make that decision. You got to make that change, because otherwise you're going to still keep feeling that intensity. So it's so much happening all at once, Kelly. It's just
Yeah.
not one-sided anymore. That's what Spirit showed me. It's not one-sided. It's on both sides. On both
Yeah.
sides.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking when you invited me to come on here today, I said to my higher self, well, okay, is it something that I should really be bringing up, or, and I just thought we're just going to let it flow. But one thing I was told to share, and I know everyone's different, but, and I know you feel this at times too, Sharon, that this journey for me, and I've been on this journey for a long time.
No, I said that too before you came on. I said 20 years, and I said, dag, and I'm 20. Oh, whatever. But come on now, like, throw me a bone now, shit.
And I feel that, so to me, it's always been so sacred. And I know like in those early days when we're going through the triggers and the mirrors and we're running and all this, I
Yeah.
suppose it might not appear to the other that it's feeling sacred. But for me, I have a full remembrance now, and have for a long time. I remember who we are. I remember our contract before that we signed up with to come through. I remember everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, especially just on the journey or starting out, probably don't remember a lot of that, or are not at that level yet where they've connected with all that. And so for me, for the last few years, the sacredness of this journey has really hurt my soul in how things have played out, because obviously, from the start, when we were doing all different things to each other as a masculine and feminine do, we go through the feelings of guilt and shame and unworthiness, and feeling like, we reacted this way and we wish we didn't, and we wish we could take things back, and all that sort of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
we process through all of that, and I still see a lot of perhaps divine, or not a lot, but some divine feminine out there in comments and things where they're still like, they're in that stage where they've had enough and they're wanting to go and all that. But when you get past that stage and you really get through to the sacredness of the bigger picture of this, and then you remember, you're so connected within yourselves that the journey, you remember, as you say, you remember what you're here for, you remember the contract you sign up for, you remember what you're here to do, but you also remember that sacred love.
And to experience divine love as well.
Yeah. And then right. You start to really, so for me, I do sometimes go through these waves when when those energies are hitting and stuff, where I do feel a little sad that it's gone through those stages, because to me it's like something so sacred and precious that to have a lot of the 3D world and this crap that's gone on, and the interruptions, and the dark feminine stuff and all that that everyone talks about, it's just it just saddens my heart, I guess.
Well, what I find with it, especially with some of the readings I do, is that it's so easy to fall back into those illusions of separation and the belief system surrounding relationships. Like every time I told someone I did a reading for earlier today, when she asked about marriage, and I said, the minute you say the word marriage, it carries a heavy vibration, a lower vibration. Just say the word marriage. It's just a lower vibration. And the reason is because that was made by man, not by God. God created us to be in love, and that we were never separated, okay? and that we're to experience and to be the fullness of this love. And it's not based on something written on a piece of paper. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And
yeah,
that this is more of coming into a greater spiritual marriage. And the spiritual marriage is not just um, between yourself and someone, but it's the marriage of your soul and your physical self. You see? And so
yes,
the marriage of your soul and physical self is meaning that you're intertwining what's happening in the spiritual realm more than even so what's in the physical realm. Because when you're able to
yeah,
connect to the spiritual aspect of this journey, like what does it really mean? You have greater peace. You
yeah,
have a
yeah,
higher state of joy and blissfulness, you
you
see?
do.
And
Yeah,
that's the bottom line. So when someone gets stuck in, oh, well, she didn't call me and he didn't see me and he said this and this, that, and I said, well, you're staying stuck in that 3D aspect again about what the relationship should be with this. And it cannot fit in the relationship dynamic. It cannot fit in the relationship box. So if you're still holding on to energy of how you feel it should be if someone loves you because you're placing that conditioned energy on it, you're going to create more pain and more disillusionment and
yeah,
sorrow, disappointments too as well. A lot of dissing there.
yeah,
And yeah, and a lot of times too, I see that it's again easy for that individual to get caught up in what they see in the physical world and not connecting to their heart center, what they're feeling inside, the
yeah,
dream state, what's in the subconscious mind, and relating it to your connection with that person, and or something that may be coming up from the past or something coming up in the present. You know what I mean? The more you stay present, the
yes,
more you stay present
yeah,
is the
yeah,
easier the journey will be for you, really.
yeah, yes, yeah,
You
totally
see?
agree. And when you were saying this about people looking at things in the 3D, well, for me, I had to kind of disconnect from looking at, because I know a lot of people like to look at the social through social media, at what their twins doing and what's going on. And, I had to kind of disconnect from doing all of that, a long time back, because, it's just, for me, it was like I had to stay in my own lane and do my own work. And for me, that's just all an illusion anyway, because that's what's playing out in a 3D world. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any connection to that anymore. Do you know what I mean? So to
Yes.
me, and I always say to people this, don't be kind of trying to go back well, obviously everybody can do what they
And
want, but
especially
just,
comparing sometimes people like to keep comparing their own journey to someone else's, and then
yeah,
they start to feel to come off track because of that,
yeah,
you
that's right.
know,
And
and that's
to
giving away your power.
It is, and to
Mm-hmm.
me, if it's like, do your own work and stay in your own lane, because whatever your beloved's doing, like, it's all mirrored anyway. But you can
Mm-hmm.
come up, like you said, you can go back into those illusions, and then you come out of your energy, you go into the lower vibration energies. Because,
Yes.
and I guess in some points, if it's triggering you, well, then yeah, that's possibly a good thing, because then you got to go deeper. But I find, for me, I was better
Mm-hmm.
just not look at any of his social media and stuff, because then I could focus on me, and I could work through, my own stuff, and do it that way. So, and I just
Mm-hmm.
find that's better. And then you can elevate to that level where you kind of see all the illusions
Mm-hmm.
and
So
everything.
Kelly, please share what you were getting in your downloads for the week to do with the unions, because I was speaking about the energies that are opening up now, because since the sun is in Gemini, Mars is in Cancer, the solar eclipse is coming up. The solar eclipse represents what's coming in as far as an opening, an abundance, that what the solar also is a representation of masculine. So I've been saying for the past several months since March that a lot of things have been happening to do with the masculine energy, the rewrites, the changes, the shifts in how we perceive again the relationship dynamic, what is that called? The control slavery template of, being told what to do in relationships, or what is the definition of it based on your family and what you've witnessed maybe as a child. You know what I'm saying? When it
Yeah,
comes to love, when it comes to sex, when it comes to family, and the unity of the soul. Do you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's and also working hard, you know, and they got to work for the money and feeling enslaved, you know, and it's on both masculine and feminine side, you know, because I've also felt that for myself too, feeling like as if you're working a job and
Yeah.
all the money is going back towards something else, and it's like you're working for nothing. You know what I mean? And feeling unhappy and discontented. So it's all these things that are shifting and changing, because all of those barriers and blocks is what has contributed to the breakdown of relationships, okay? Because it's not balanced. It's not an energy of receiving and giving. It's more like giving, giving, giving constantly. You know what I mean? And a lot of times there
Yeah.
are people who are afraid to speak up that, you know, it's time to get a raise. And sometimes you got to give yourself the raise. You know, I gave myself raises many times. It's like if I find that I didn't feel, you know, content with what I'm doing as far as work is concerned, it wasn't balanced out, I gave myself the raise. And sometimes people don't like when you do it, but that's tough titties, because it
Yeah.
has to do with you and how you feel about yourself and your own self-worth. So even that energy in and of itself is what's coming to a greater balance, because when you start to come into alignment with this freedom and what you deserve to have, and it includes relationships with everyone. What is it that you think that there may be for you to learn to say no and to speak up and to move out from another location? You know, it could be anything. You know, all of these energies are pushing you again to come into that alignment on both sides again, if you're on the sacred twin soul path.
They
Okay.
should. They
Anyway.
should,
Hmm.
yeah, because I was just sorry, just chiming in there, but I I haven't felt so. I live, as you know, like just day to day, like in the now, and I don't ever worry about money side of it or anything like that. I
Hmm.
have pushed through a lot of that issue with abundance and blockages and everything. For me,
Hmm.
though, it's come from exactly what you said over the last few days. The energy's come back in again of this, you know what, I really need to balance out how much I give out freely as opposed to, you
Yes.
know, because of my worth. So as soon as I feel someone, you know, or people start to maybe email me too much about, you know, and send me long emails and want free advice or, you know, all this sort of stuff, I find I have to pull back because I've got to honor myself, like, because this is our
Yes.
work, you know, this is our work.
Yes.
And so I think, you know, I've put a book out there. I'm a published author that people are reading and saying is giving them incredible insight that other things have never given them insight before. So, you know, people can buy the book, or, you know, I've created an online course that people again are buying and saying, oh my God, I've never shifted on so much on this spiritual path than I have with this. So I've created stuff out there, and then to kind of, I feel there's still that imbalance in this, whether it's a spirit, whether you want to say it's a spiritual path or the twin flame path or whatever, there's this like everyone just wants to, you know, not respect the craft, each other's craft. And so,
Well, I really feel that most of the average person doesn't really honor this path and how sacred it is, to be honest with you.
yeah,
They kind
yeah,
of think it's like, you know, it's no big deal. Oh, I'm just trying to get into a relationship. No, you know,
yeah,
I find it
yeah,
to be offensive. You know, if anyone does it, and it's not that I go announcing it everywhere, but all I know is that I have such this huge shield around me. Don't come and talk to me about what, you know, saying something different if you're not going through the experience. If you're not going through the
yeah,
experience, you
yeah,
don't understand, ask questions. You know,
yeah,
ask questions, seek to know. I talk about that in the book that I'm doing. I say, seek to know. When you seek to know, you gain wisdom and understanding, and you apply it to apply it into your world instead of
yeah,
projecting and judging. You understand what I'm saying? And there
yeah,
is so much
yeah,
information out there. So it's like, tap into your heart, that even if you don't understand something, right? How
yeah,
does it make you feel inside? Ask questions and connect to that part of yourself to know what the truth is, because the truth is what sets you free. Because
yeah,
when you let your soul do the speaking for you and guiding you, then guess what? What you're doing is you're creating that space for your own sovereignty, right? And
Yes.
also you're also attaining and gaining the wisdom and the knowledge that's flowing through from between yourself and source. But because there's been so much disconnect on the earth, everyone, usually people are just busy scrambling, trying to follow the leaders or followers, someone else who has 500,000 people, and thinking that that's the way that it's going to lead them to it. And then so it gets put in this box of categories, you know, as if to say, oh, this has to do with getting married. And no, it's not that. It's more than that. It is greater than that. So please remember again how important this journey is for you
Yeah.
and for planet Earth and the cosmos. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
This is about the cosmic
Yeah,
energies that are flowing right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And energetically, like we all know how energy works. So, if you're out there too, and you're always just, scrolling on Instagram, or Instagram or social media for stuff, and just wanting, free, 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 and not, well, you're not honoring yourself and your journey and what you're, your path to seek help. If you know you need to seek help to actually have that energetic exchange. And I found on this journey, even from when I started being a coach in 2015, I was always giving, 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 giving so much. And things in my world weren't, always going right, or abundance and stuff, because I was crap at receiving, because I was a people pleaser. And when you've been a people pleaser your whole life, it's hard to receive. Okay. So I had to go through all that and
Well,
learn.
that's because of the programming that comes from,
Yeah,
way back when, with the creation of religious structures and government
yeah,
structures. That's all it is. And
yeah,
because we're creating a newer energy of
yeah,
creating, because
yeah,
we are the co-creators. And so because most of mankind is not used to co-creation,
yeah,
it's like, and again, we are pushing away and filtering through all of the dogmatic stuff that you can't do this way. You're supposed to work hard for it, and you're
yeah,
supposed to struggle,
yeah,
you know, and you're
yeah,
supposed to give it away for free, because
yeah.
that's not spiritual. That's not Christian. Fuck
Oh,
that.
I
Okay.
know,
So I'm
yeah,
just keeping it realer.
yeah.
That's it. It's a lot. It's time to release all that programming. You know what I mean? Or that
Yes,
you shouldn't think about money because it's evil. No, it's what you may put in a sense of gratification or gluttony. That's what creates the darker side element to the self with that. Okay?
yeah,
Because in all reality and in all essence, there's enough of everything to go around. Abundance is not just based on money, it's also based on wealth, prosperity, health, how healthy you are inside and whole. You know what I mean? And that you're thinking of yourself and you're thinking of others, that it's not just
yeah.
about you and it's about others as well, because we're
And
moving into this energy of unity consciousness, the
yeah,
unity of other twin souls that are holding that vibrational energy for those who are coming into their physical union, even if you're not. Because why? Because it's serving a greater purpose for what? The cosmos, the
yeah,
planet, the
exactly.
one and all. And
Yes,
so for
yeah,
me again, and for others, please let's continue to hold this sacred space for all of those who are coming into, because we're still doing this collectively and energetically together. I've stated
yeah,
before that many one of us are holding keys and codes to what is shifting on the planet. And as the 2020 portal is already open, and as we're coming into a greater alignment of what is coming together with these divine unions, what's happening is it's starting to make things accelerate even faster. I have never found a year go so fast like any other before. Okay,
I
like
know.
May is
Oh,
over. It's
it's just
like it's like the speed of
flown.
light. It's like lightning. You
It,
see?
it is.
Yeah.
It's flown. It really.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
has. And we're coming into, so what, today is the 30th here in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
So it's my son's birthday where you are already. It's
oh,
birthday. 15 minutes. Yep.
I was going to say you're looking very gorgeous, by the way, tonight.
That's
Not
the
that you're,
filters, Kelly.
oh, the filter. Yeah, I really need it.
That's the fun. I'm just kidding. I do the best that I can, you know.
No, but you're
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. But yeah, I
Yeah.
did, when you were asking what I got, to be honest, I can't remember a lot.
Yes.
I didn't record this one because that's what I was actually going to say. Part of me at the moment is pulling back from YouTube and social media, because I'm just really trying to keep that balance of that worthiness and, you know, of like not giving out
That's
too.
understandable. Yeah.
And I do feel there's a lot out there actually that are doing that at the moment. But anyway, so I did talk to you about what I received the other day. Yeah, and I can't remember it all because I didn't record this one, but I think I was saying, and correct me because I think you remember it, but I was saying about they were showing me June and July. So there's been a lot of talk about I think there's been a lot of talk about June and July kind of being rough months, and August. And what I was receiving was that that June and July are now going to be like things are really going to shift at a rapid rate. I'm really feeling June. There is lots and lots of changes. And I know astrology, they're saying a lot of that as well. But what they were showing me is that a lot of changes in terms of to do with unions and to do with like the pairs and things like that. So a lot of stuff happening. And July, I felt like by August, I was shown that things are really more settled. Like really,
Yeah, that's the feeling that I get, that
yeah,
it's more settled. It's going to
yeah,
be very emotional for a lot of us, is what I'm getting. And the reason is because, of course, the eclipse is in, I think it's Cancer, Capricorn. And, you know, and I feel that that has to do with the greater balance of structure and following the heart and the feelings. You know, that's what
yeah,
we're here to attempt. And then, you know, the North Node is in Cancer, which represents where we're moving towards when it comes to connecting together, that energy together with the feelings, the thoughts, and home and family. You know, so many of the those on the sacred path, again, we're creating and recreating the new 5D and higher templates of love, okay? And it includes our children, includes our families, okay? So
yes,
even if you're not in contact with your physical family or minimal contact, it doesn't matter, because the energy itself is already shifting through the DNA energetically, or, you know, faster and faster, okay? And so it's going to feel uncomfortable again for some. And this is just the way it's leading to. So the reason why Kelly was picking up on June and July being, I guess you say it was more intense, is what you were hearing. Was it more
well,
intense?
no, what I was being shown that those that are still on the path at a level of where they are still kind of resisting, or if they're doing any of that, you know, still trying to hold on to that chaotic 3D stuff in
Okay.
their life, then yes, it's going to be very intense for those people. Those that are
Mhm.
ready or have just let go and are more surrendering to whatever's coming in. So there's been a lot of divine intervention, you know, as I've been receiving as well. The last couple of videos I've done on YouTube have been about the channels. And so there's a lot of that happening. And way back then, they were telling me that that June and July were very pivotal months. And I know a lot of people are sort of saying, oh, you know, it's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy. But what I got was more that it's not going to be as crazy. So it's there's going to be a lot of change, and it's going to go really, really fast. So you were talking
And I
before.
feel it's going to be smoother. And the reason is
Yeah,
because of the freer energy that many of us have had to push through to create.
yeah,
You see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
A lot of us have,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, I know the part you wanted to share. I remember now. Yeah, it was showing me that that ones of us that have kind of accelerated through more, and they're at those higher levels of, you know, I'm just sort of using levels as the term, you know,
Levels of consciousness, yeah. And
those,
less resistance. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, those that have pushed through that.
And there's more of an inner balance
Yeah,
with yourself, and that you're not holding on to these
yeah,
3D templates. I mean,
yeah,
just keep it real. That's it.
yeah, that's
No
true.
fantasies. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. So those of us that have actually done that work and pushed through and are at that, we are now anchoring. We're anchoring these energies in, and more of those unions that were kind of the others that were kind of coming together to help anchor us in. Well, now it's the opposite. It's flipped. So it's like the ones, the twins, or the whatever, the counterparts, whatever you
The
want to call
first waivers, like
them.
they call them the first waivers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So the first waivers that are, they're kind of now going to all sort of come into that alignment, and then they'll be anchoring in the energies for the second and third. Whereas what we were led to believe in the past that was sort of happening was the others were going to come together quicker and anchor in the energies for the other ones. And so this is what they're showing me. They're saying that that as the energy moves so fast, and energies, like, things can change instantly, obviously, with energy. And there's been a lot that have maybe not pushed through, their work and through the path as quickly as they thought they would.
It's going to cut off, and we're going to come back on again because I'm getting some downloads based on what Kelly is saying. So we will be back on within less than a minute. Part two.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So hold your thought. We'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I'm back, and this is part 2 of the live talk on Instagram. Welcome again. And I'm myself, Sharon Andrea. I'm having a conversation with Kelly as we are discussing what's happening coming up for the summer solstice. And for her, it's going to be the winter solstice because she's located in Australia. And also what's coming up to do with a lot of twin soul reunions in the physical reunion space. So she's been receiving her downloads, and as she's speaking, I'm also channeling and receiving information as well. So I'm waiting for Kelly to come back on to finish her thoughts as we're going into part 2 of our live talk. Okay, you have to press, I don't see the, okay, I see it now. Okay, yes. Are you there, Kelly? All right.
Back.
Easy peasy.
I had to get my charger because I think my phone was going to conk out. So.
Oh, well, I started charging already from a long time.
I did. I like 55%, actually, because I saw it 55.
My kids know me. I couldn't dare go to 55%. They always laugh at me all the time because I always keep it charging all the time. I say, yeah, but guess what? If any shit should happen, my shit is I keep it 100.
Oh, do you?
I keep it. That's a fun pun. I keep it 100. You know what I mean? Greetings, beautiful souls. We're coming back on. This is a part 2 live talk with myself and Kelly Lee. I could actually see us on TV right now, whether it's an internet TV, whatever, because we're keeping it real when it comes to this twin soul, soul flame, true love, sacred partner journey. You know what I mean? And how we're lifting the vibration of the consciousness of this planet. No matter what's happening in my world, if you knew what was happening with me, you say, what? And Sharon's talking, what? I keep it rolling. We got to keep it rolling.
That's right. We got to.
Lights, camera, action. That's it.
Keep going alive. Like, I'm like, oh, well.
Yep.
Yeah.
No pitching tents. That's right. It's not, to me, I used to say it's not for the squeamish, but it goes even beyond that. It's like, it has come close to me so many times where I said, I've had enough, and it's like, it's just like you want to pinch yourself and say, why did I do this? We volunteered for this. And there's a reason why we volunteered for this, and that we were going to all reconnect together, because we're holding this energy and this band together, no matter where we are in the world, that you are not alone. And remember, I said that if you feel that you're isolated and pulled away from your biological family, that you have your soul family and your galactic family. You know what? I love getting messages from my galactic family. I find it to be the most fascinating, exciting thing. They know me. They know me like a book. If they know that I'm at this crossroad of where I'm making a decision or something's about to change or something, they're going to come to me in a dream and show me. You know what I mean? And I trust the spiritual realm with the information that I receive. What do I say? It's not filtered. It's raw and real, just like me. Okay. And, I don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? I just said that lady, she said, I ain't got time for that. That's me. That's Sharon. I just keep pushing it through. And we all are here to push it through together. So I'm here with you with all of this. So Kelly, beautiful Kelly, was talking about her downloads that she received this week. She's on a roll now. And she's even started speaking her light language, but I do mine is strong language. So
Yeah, and that's in the
But
last.
but either way, it's beautiful because that's also the true language of our soul. And you know what I find is that when we go into that, dive into that frequency of speaking from our soul more than the words, the vibration is not only higher, but it empowers you. It grounds what is happening energetically for yourself. Do you know what I mean? And when you open the door for that to start happening, the power that comes with it is just absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. That's all I can say.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and it becomes natural
Yeah.
for you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm
No.
hearing them say that it's like communicating like the dolphins, you know, the dolphin energy, because the dolphins carry a particular frequency. And when we're connected to the dolphin energy, actually that's connected to the divine masculine. And what it does is you'll start to feel the frequency of all of that coming through your ears. Then you'll start to feel it coming through your throat chakra and what's opening up more. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful. So anyway, before we were rudely interrupted by Instagram, hopefully Instagram will stop with this 1 hour thing. I'm gonna make it go on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I was just saying. So for me, it was, and I was surprised to receive it because I thought, like you, that we were coming into more of that. You know, when I say rough months, like just things moving faster and coming up and everything. But
Yes.
yeah, no, it was sort of shown to me that it wasn't going to be like we thought. So things were going well, and that, you know, it is going to be very fast, very, very fast. But
Yes, it is
we get,
because right now the
yeah,
month of May is over. It's, you know, it's really, things are really, really speeding up. You see
yeah,
what I'm saying?
it's really speeding up, and it was just about if we can really just flow with that and not go back into
That's not usual for humans. What's the matter with you? It's, even the human part of me comes out too, and that's why I said it's okay to feel. Greetings, Daisy. It's okay to feel the parts of yourself that has to still filter through the what do I say this, the positive side and the negative side, the light, the shadow, the light, the shadow, because it's just coming in
yeah,
and integrating.
yeah,
So when you were speaking, what I was getting before it cut off, because I remember when you and I were talking, because I started on my twin soul path since 2014 in the physical world, but 2008 in the spiritual world. Okay, so understand me now. In the spiritual realm, when it comes to this journey, my divine masculine was looking and searching for me, and he found me. And he would come to me in dream state and in the etheric realms also while I'm awake, where I felt his presence. Okay, and he wouldn't show me, I couldn't see a face, but I did see his body, and it's coming across as this brown skinned man, always saying the same thing: Sharon, I love you so much, I want to be with you. I even had a dream where he and I were together in a past life where he was my cousin. Okay, and we said that we were cousins. He even came to me in another dream in a past life where he was speaking in codes and said, when you connect with me, the number is 1110000. I kid you not. That time I just kept write. That time I used to write, Kelly. Ooh, I have like 6 books of writings. And then when Spirit says, okay, what you gonna do new now? It's like, oh, I'm gonna voice record it. And so I didn't realize all that time, after reviewing some of my notes of dreams that I had, that I was already connecting to my twin soul. I was connecting to myself. I was connected to my divine
yeah,
masculine part of me, okay, energetically and etherically, emotionally, spiritually, all of it.
yeah,
And for me, whenever these things happen, I find it to be fascinating. I know that it's quite supernatural, as one would say, but I always knew that even when something is strange, I know it's of God. And when people say to me, well, when you got this information, where did it come from? Where you expect it to come from? Well, you know,
yeah,
because for me, I know I'm always like on the positive side as much as possible, but I still knew in my heart that it was something spiritual. And
yeah,
so this journey in and of itself had been from 2008 all the way to 2014, and then the physical from 2014 to present. Prior to 2008, I was still going through my spiritual stance and who I am and what is the meaning of life and death from when my mom had transitioned when she was sick. You know what I'm saying? So, it's really incredible now with where we are on our own individual journeys, but still there's something parallel between you and I and myself and others. Do you see what I'm saying? And where we're reaching into this milestone. So
Yeah.
there's some of you who may not have connected to your physical twin until maybe 2017 and 18, right? And what I discovered was that they're already in that physical union space. And I'm like, wait, hold on, Lenny, wait there. What's this mean,
Oh, they
right?
are.
And, huh?
They are.
Oh yeah. There's some like after me, like I'm saying after, because for me it was start in the
Yeah.
physical space, it was 2014.
Yeah.
There are some that I know that
Yeah.
they have known their twin from they were little, from 20 years. I've had a lady contact me. She's been on her path for 20 years, and she's finally in the physical. So the great thing is that again, there's more freer energy that's opened up on Earth. Okay, we're still filtering through more density, but because of the collectiveness of this, of what's happening, it is feeling a little bit more lighter, and then you may start to feel the density. So what's happening is, what they're saying is that the inner core of Earth, okay, because remember we're talking about something that's spiraling, and when you think about the inner core of Earth, that is what holds it together like a nucleus, okay? And this is where our solar plexus is, okay? So because when anything is in action, it's what? It's moving in motion, and it's going to go clockwise, and then it's going to go counterclockwise, and then it's going to spin and spin and spin, and then sometimes the circle is large, and then it starts to condense, and it starts to get small. So some people who are on their twin soul path coming into the physical reunion space hold a certain core energy that represents that part of what's templating on the physical Earth. They're holding that space for the original twins or the first wavers, in that in like they're in the center core, and then there's the outer core, okay? And so that's what it feels like. That's what they're showing to me. So by the time we get to the month of August, this is where there's a greater connectivity between the inner core of those who are in the physical union and the outer core, okay? There's no set formula or timing to this. They don't tell me who's on first, who's on second. When it happens because this has been predestined from the beginning of time. That's why there's no need to worry about if this is going to happen or that, because everything is still happening according to what? Divine purpose, okay?
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why the month of August is significant, as we pass through the Gemini season with the portal of 666 that what I was talking about earlier in the first live was the shift in the DNA codes, okay? There's a shift in the DNA codes in the human element of the body. So that's why we're going through even more ascension symptoms. You might be going to the toilet more often, going through colon cleansing. You might be bleeding. You might be having, stuff happening with your body, and just keep moving through whatever it is that you need to do with sea salt baths and walking on the earth barefoot and hugging the trees and all of that stuff to help your body to get used to it, because your soul is integrating more and more in the physical body. You will feel your divine masculine and divine feminine even stronger than before. It's like you can't even separate it any longer. Nothing's hidden, okay? It's like it's so much more transparency is taking place. And so
what I'm feeling.
Definitely. Right. So think of now the element of the infinity. Okay. I'm getting this down right now just because of what you said. And we think of infinity, it goes in a loop, right? And so this loop in and of itself is what's coming together for many of us by the time August coming, because there are about 3 or 4 people that came into contact with me. Something's happening with them reconnecting in a stronger element during the month of August. Okay, so by that time, that's what they call the Lion's Gate portal. When you think of that Lion Gate, that's where we're really going to be coming from their heart, like really powerful and strong. It's like standing before the presence of the kings and the queens, and it's coming through like the heart of a lion, right? And the courageousness is even stronger. The heart center is even more powerful. Greater heart awakenings, heart chakra openings. They're showing me, oh gosh, manifestation, the flow of money and the flow of abundance with anything that you desire. It's going to just pull towards you magnetically. And that's the part that we to keep remembering the truer purpose of who you are in connection to your divine partner, because when it comes together magnetically, you become a power couple. Okay, this is not something that you can create from a soulmate, because when I hear those things, I'm like, really? Really? All right. Okay, so anyway, because even me know when I say, well, if me powerful with myself, you can't just imagine, and it's true, because it becomes like a ball of light. And the light frequency that's starting to flow is going to start permeating through your body, that I really feel that many of us are not going to be able to sleep as much, even more than ever, okay? I feel that we're going to stay even more, like how some of us say, gosh, I wish this would last a little longer. Gosh, I wish this wouldn't. That's what happened to me, Kelly, when I was floating up in the air, and this was me by myself. I was like, oh no, because I really literally started to feel my body start to descend and descend. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And this was not because I physically died. I went through a snippet of what it's like to be in that higher heart frequency while I was still in the body. And that's why everything I transcribed in the book, I wrote it down, and I was just channeling. I was doing automatic writing. I don't know if you know what automatic writing, when you're channeling from the higher realms and you're just writing it down. And they were just telling me that everything that takes place on the other side is what we're templating on this new earth. So we're truly ushering from now in this frequency, since Gemini season now, more into the physical space, mental clarity, feeling more centered, more greater inner peace. You're probably feeling as if there's more of these endings of those cycles that constantly repeat. Whether or not you have gone through that separation phase with your true love, which I prefer to say true love, it's a higher vibration, you know what I'm talking about, and not feeling that pain like what happened from the beginning of time with Atlantis, okay, where it's like you're in more than just a voided space, but it's just like a peaceful center, okay. And so by the time we get closer to 2020, because again, that energy of 2020 is already opened up, okay, because they're showing it to me like that spiraling thing that's going in and out, and it's speeding up so fast, like looking at spokes on a bicycle when the train, and you can't see the individual spokes, but it's still speeding up. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm seeing. And I'm telling you, by the time we blink our eye, going through this, then we're gonna have the 777 portal, then the 888, then we have the 999, which is also, that's going to be the equinox, and then we have the 1010 and 1111. I have been seeing a lot of 2s all day yesterday, like crazy. I saw lucky 22 on the license plate. Remember when I told you? Then I saw 222, 2020, 22. It was wow. And so to me, I feel that's them showing the vibration of when we come into it. Now, I'm telling you, when 2020 comes in, like the physical aspect, the calendar 2020, when I say I feel so much joy coming for so many of us that have gone through so much of this fire element, the hellish feeling, the deep purging, and what else again? Density, the heaviness, you know what I mean? All of that stuff is what we're still feeling. So like the divine masculine has had to speed up with all of this faster than when the divine feminine had to go through all of that for the past, was it 4 years? I think most of it started with 2014. I think it was the heightened part of when most of this was, it
was, yeah. So that's pretty much what I was getting in that.
I know that was a lot that I said, but it was just coming out. You activated it.
I kind of got like, woo, okay.
Woo, it was coming out.
And that's pretty, but I did feel at more peace with August 8/8. So obviously we tune into, like, even whatever you're listening to, you're tuning into, I guess, the energy of where you are on your path, and we talk about this all the time, you know. So whether the download, I don't know, do you find the downloads you get are more for a collective of wherever they are, or the downloads you get are more for the collective of the energy where you're in?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Both. Yeah, because every time when Spirit sends someone to contact me for a session or a conversation, there's something collective that's happening in for those that are on that path. So I
Yeah.
find it to be very fascinating because
Yeah.
just to give you a brief example, like when I was going through what I was going through for the past several days, right?
Yeah.
And it was a representation of that slavery
Yeah.
template,
Was.
control,
Yeah.
and releasing the guilt. And then one of my clients that contacted me regularly, when I was reading for her divine masculine, I was picking up on it energetically that he has to let go of the guilt of leaving his karmic relationship. So I realized, wow, okay, so that means I was processing through something, what was happening with the divine masculine in releasing guilt and
Yeah.
walking away from something karmic. Because it could be a karmic relationship, it could be a karmic energy, where you
Yeah.
work, where you live, you know, any of that. So even though my experience is different than his experience, we're all processing that same energy. Do you get my
Yeah.
drift? There's
Yeah.
still this energy of what
Yeah.
there is to release collectively, but then the divine has us going through many experiences. And keep in
Yeah.
mind, the experiences that you have is where we're having it in the female body as divine masculine and feminine, and then in the male body as masculine and feminine, all myriad of experiences. It's so dynamic and it's so unique. That's the reason why we can't judge it, because we just don't know
Yeah.
what data we're collecting it that goes back to the Godhead, and it flows between you and your divine masculine and your divine feminine. You
Yeah.
see? Do you
It
see how
felt
powerful it is?
it is, yeah, and I felt when they were showing me this download this week, as opposed to the last few weeks or months that I've done the last two
Mm-hmm.
videos I've done with
Yeah.
that that I put out, and I mean I have to say, you know, I'm getting downloads every day all the time, but there's specific ones I don't record them all, and but this one they really wanted to show me that the energies had shifted and changed a lot. Into it's like it had shifted gear in a different direction, and they showed me that it's really like I was about to say before we got cut off, the energy can change at any time. So depending on obviously the collective in that vibration of energy at that time, so how they're feeling. So if you've got a great, you know, wherever groups of divine feminines or masculines are in that energy and how they cope, because we know what it's like when you are in that. This is why I try and really stay out of that type of thing, because when
Yeah, I
you
understand what you're saying, is that there's a different set of collective
yeah
feminines
yeah
that are processing or moving and shifting in another direction. And then there's some that may be on a different, because I noticed that there's times when some people, they'll come in and then they'll just go away and then they come back because they've gone to a different level or something.
yeah, that's
So
right,
I
sorry.
remember you said you've been definitely feeling a deeper integration. Yes, there is a deeper integration of masculine and feminine. Yep, for
And that's
sure.
really showing me. So those ones that have still just really, you know, stayed steadfast on that flowing and doing their work and not resisting and not running away and not doing all that, and really just doing their own work and pushing through with that, and then it been integrating more with their masculine side, and then obviously their divine masculine or feminine, you know, in the physical
Yes,
body,
yes.
and lots of changes. And the, you know, the energy, as we know, works so intricately that it's all about, it really is mirrored. So if one's resisting, the other will. If you're just really pushing through that, and like you said, the masculine in the masculine body have probably had to go through a lot of things quicker since last like September or whatever it is, as
Yeah.
opposed to the divine
I think
feminine.
it started from the beginning of the year when we had that lunar eclipse. That's
Yeah,
when it started to happen
yeah,
rapidly, because I remember I was purging. That was the last time I went through major purging pain. It was so painful. And
yeah.
it wasn't because something happened. I just felt it happening with my twin, and my whole body was feeling it in my solar plexus.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right. It did start, and then earlier, and then it just kept all year kept stepping up, stepping up, stepping up, and then
Yeah.
this year, 2019, has been even faster again, like we were saying, and when if you look at if you read any energy forecasts and things, I mean, it's just I try not to get into that energy because I want to really see how I experience that in myself. But
Yes.
and usually I read it after the event. But if I do read it, then you'll find that what actually is being said out there is happening. Like, so when they're
Yes.
saying, this portal's opening, or we're getting these solar flares now hitting the planet north, like
Yes.
there is a lot of shifts happening in that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you follow that sort of stuff. So it definitely is happening. It's definitely moving fast. And that's what they were showing to me with June and July. They said July was going to be rocky, but not necessarily rocky nasty or rocky bad or rocky.
I feel it's going to be emotionally charged
It was,
in a
but
great
it was
way.
also like it was a good energy, as in also things happening and moving forward.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
So that's what I felt, and it was, and then.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they showed me August, it was actually like peace. It was more at peace. So that's just
Mm-hmm.
what they showed me. And so again, I
Yes.
don't know if that's for the collective that are in the same energy frequency as me, or whether was overall, but that's what
Yeah.
they showed this week and said that things had changed and moved. So
Yes. 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 Yes.
yeah.
And I would love for you to mention what you was watching that video of the young man that came into his own physical reunion space where he was in separation from his divine feminine. Because a lot of times people think, oh, it's only happening to females. I know it's a female thing, but no, there are some divine masculine in the male body who are in physical separation from their twins, and they also go through the cycles of having to heal and to shift and release and all of that stuff. And so Kelly told me that he was so excited that he was nervous. I think that's what you said, or couldn't believe that it was happening. You know what I mean? So it is happening. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't really watch a lot of his stuff, but I have him on notification, and I was doing some other work, and Spirit said to me, go and look at the YouTube and see, what's just come up. And so I did. I'm very obedient to Spirit, and he just popped up, like that's the first thing there, notification, and it said special announcement, and I'm like, oh, this guy's going to say he's in union. I just knew it.
You felt it.
I felt it, yeah. And so I just clicked on him and watched it, and it was like only 4 minutes long or something. And he said, I just wanted to come on very briefly. He said I think he does lives on a Friday night or a Saturday night or something. And I've not ever listened to him, but he said that, he's going to explain more about it there. But he said, yeah, he's in union, and he said, and I've just got to tell you, it feels really good. It feels amazing. And and he was mainly coming on to give a divine feminine a shout out that had helped him. So he didn't actually mention her name or who she was, but he said, I've had a divine feminine that's been helping me along the way, and with what he was going through. So I gather he's been putting out videos like every week or every couple of days, going through, explaining what he's going through and where he's at.
Yes.
And
yes.
then he had this divine feminine that was helping him going through things. And he's a coach too, because he advertises, well, not a coach, he advertises sessions. And and he just said that I've come into union and it's amazing and it's all new. And he looked he looked a bit, not nervous, but he looked a bit like in shock, even saying.
In shock, yes, yes.
Has it finally happened? Is it is it
finally happening? Yes, yes.
Yeah, and so that's all he really said, and he was going to share it in more detail later on.
Yeah, because he wants to keep the energy sacred between himself and her. And you know what's interesting about that, I don't think I had mentioned it to you when you told me, is that it shows that it is through the feminine energy that we heal. It is through the feminine energy that we heal through the pain of the past with the divine feminine and what she has experienced with being separated from a divine and disempowering herself and
Yeah.
and all of that. It is through the feminine energy that we heal through the divine masculine and his wounds of what he's experienced with his own separation and how he has felt burdened and saddened, and how he's connected to the feminine energy, and having a greater understanding of the feminine energy and the peace that it brings for you. So, I think some people kind of get lost into thinking that feminine energy means that it's based on a physical person, but it's based on an energy and a frequency coming through from the creator, and
Yeah.
what had been missing and dormant within your DNA. Okay, because we all
Yeah.
have feminine energy, and it's how much are you going to activate and surrender to that feminine energy. Okay.
Yeah.
And what it brings for you in terms of beauty and truth and strength and love, forgiveness, wisdom, the understanding, all the different elements of feminine. There's so many sides to her, and how you may define her. And you have greater clarity also when you connect your feminine aspect of self with your masculine aspect of self. Okay, because it's both. It takes both now to what we're creating and how we're coming together as equals. So you're
Yeah.
bringing yourself as an equal aspect of self, okay, that 0 point energy within yourself, and your partner's doing the same thing. You're doing it together. So if
Yeah.
you're still at a place where you're feeling that you're doing it all by yourself, or this person is being this and not doing that, always remember to bring it back to you. Always remember that. And are you letting go of the belief systems that you have had from childhood, and what's going on with the inner child? Even if you're in a female body, you have the inner child masculine and the inner child feminine. If you're in a male body, you have the inner child feminine and the inner child masculine. What part of yourself is desiring to feel love again because you probably thought it was missing when it was always there, and you're looking for maternal love if you didn't have a mother in your life? Know that you have your cosmic mother and your earth mother, and that if it means that it's time to cut the cord from someone who gave birth to you because they're controlling or egomaniacal or narcissistic, or does all kinds of things that is hurtful and painful for you, just know that you can give yourself permission to move forward now, and that other people can come in your life that can be like a mother to you. And the same thing applies for those who've had relationships with their fathers that has not been great. You know what I mean? You're here to transcend through the things that have happened before in the past, and you're bringing something new in the present to create that new energy of what it means to connect to yourself as the mother, to connect to yourself as the father, to connect to yourself as the child, to connect to yourself as the lover, the everything, because we've been all of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what creates a greater balanced you. You know what I mean? That you're not looking for someone to fill that void for you. Because there's some people that hold on to these grudges of what they've experienced with someone for years and years and years.
I
Even if the
do.
person's dead and gone, and they're holding it for years and years and years. And I'm saying, if only you knew what it would do for you if you let go and release it once and for all. So if you have to scream it, write it, burn it on a paper, express yourself, and create that a new layer of freedom for yourselves. You
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people hold on to that with the universe as well. When things have
Oh,
gone
yeah.
wrong, or they've lost someone so close to them, and they have that blame and hatred with the
The
universe.
blame and hatred. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And
Yes.
if they can't release that and move through that and heal from that, then they're going to always stay in that cyclic pattern of
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to have that abundant filled life, or that greater life, or that greater
Yeah,
love.
it creates a block when you have the shame, the guilt,
Yeah,
there's so many layers of things that that one can attach to based on the experiences. And once you can
yes,
identify these experiences, and instead of judging, just make that observation of it, And once you bring it into awareness of what is there that you feel triggered with that pain, you know, once you identify with it, just identifying with it can set you free in an instant. In an instant.
Yes, yeah,
See?
that's right. Just
Mm-hmm.
ignore the awareness of it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Which is
Yeah.
where I find I am now, that level of my growth, that if something does come up, because I was going to say before, some of these things when we were talking about how we were feeling too this week, Eddie, I think it is like you were saying too, just that residual little stuff that's coming back up with the divine
Yes.
feminine, some things.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I just think, oh no, I've just gone off track what I was going to say.
That happens to me too.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, yeah. But
The
I was
stuff
just,
that what we went through this week, because I feel that there were others that may have been experiencing, you know, anger towards your
yeah,
path,
yeah,
or feeling let down,
yeah. Oh,
depressed,
that's,
disappointed.
I know what I was going to say now. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, I
No,
was
that's
about to
okay.
say that when these things happen now, I know with myself that just that awareness and feeling into it and going, oh, what is this? Just releases it straight away.
Yeah.
So you get to that point where as long as you're not trying to resist, or I don't want to feel that, or go away, or whatever, you know, that if you can just feel into it and go,
Yes.
all right, well, I was in an amazing energy and a bubble, you know, my bubble, but okay,
Yes.
come up now, and then, you know, and so if you
Yes.
really go, okay, well, what is this, and feel into it, and then yeah, and it, like you said, it's just that awareness, and then you feel it release. You know, you get that feeling where you
You
just
can feel it. Absolutely.
feel it release.
Yes.
You just
I
do.
used
So
Yeah, my brother just messaged me. That's so unusual for him
oh,
to message me at this time. I didn't even know
on
he
it.
was away and he's back. Okay. Um, so now I forgot what I was saying.
I started to say I even, because I was saying how the when you just feel it release, the energy just goes and you feel it
Yes.
out. Yeah. And then you started
Yeah.
even, you were going to say something.
I still forgot. That threw me off. Sean, I'm going to cuss. Yeah, stop.
I tried to
Oh
get you
my
back.
goodness. Because, you know, it's like once I channel into whatever I was going to say, it just went right out the door. Oh my gosh. But anyway, it'll come back. It'll come back. Um, but either way, it is definitely going to be looking quite different coming into the this gateway of 2020. Okay. And it goes
Yeah.
deeper when it
Yeah.
comes to the 5D conscious relationships, the 5D conscious connections. Okay. This is where it's like what was shown to me is where this love goes so high, that the person might look at you like you're crazy, like even crazier, because the joy that fills your heart and soul, that when you look at another being, and when I say being, that's just not just human being, it could be just you're in love with everything. That's what
Yeah.
it's like. I experienced this too, because everything spirit had me go through snippets of what these 5D conscious connections are going to be like. Not just to do with your twin. I'm talking about with everything. It's like you're going to look at everything as being in love with it. Okay. Like you're even in love with the bugs. Like I didn't even want to kill the bug. Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't want to I didn't want to kill the bug. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like everything
Yeah.
becomes beautiful, even if it didn't look beautiful, because it's like we're creating new canvases. Okay. What are you painting? You know? And it takes releasing so much of
Yeah.
the fears, the dogma, how you think things should look, what it should be like, what this person should say. You know, it's like even if you hear something today and they said, oh, this is so and so, and tomorrow it's not like that anymore, are you able to let go, or are you going to hold on to it just because that's the way it was yesterday?
Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
really truly living and being in a moment of everything can change instantly. Are you okay with that? Are you able to be in a flow with this constantly all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
See? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
Or
totally
even
agree.
with your beloveds, you know, if your beloved comes and say, I want to be with you, and then they're like, well, I'm off to the sunset and I'm going to go with Chelsea today. You know, are you going to be okay with that? You know, seriously. So it's truly coming into this newer reality of how much are you able to let go? How much are you able to allow everyone and everything to be in its sovereignty? Everything, everyone to be
Yeah.
in their
Yeah.
sovereignty. That
Yeah.
even if you don't like what they say, you know, are you
Yeah.
okay with that? If you don't like the way they dress, if you
Yeah.
don't, that is how much, and that if there's something that you're standing up for yourself and what you love, are you going to still speak your truth, or are you going to compromise yourself because you don't want to ruin the relationship? You know what I mean? Are
Yeah.
you going to stay within your own integrity when it comes to
Yeah.
this, and especially your power,
Yeah.
especially your power. That's right. How much are you really looking at your body being sacred also, when it comes to sex, when it comes to connections and all that, you know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
going through rewrite when it comes to that too as well. And all of the they call it the curses that have happened when it comes to the mixing of the fluids and all that stuff and through the bloodline, all of that energy is being rewritten. It's
Yeah.
constant rewritten. Yeah. So
It
that's
is.
why for some females, you might feel, your womb having so much activity because that's where life started. That's where things started from the beginning of, creation. So therefore, you're going through a rewrite in your womb space. So now that that's happening, what are you allowing to enter into your womb space? Because that entering of your womb space, I'm not talking about just a physical penis, or if it's it could even be a person that you're talking to. And if they're toxic, are you still going to allow that energy to still come into your sacred space? You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's important to keep thinking about what more is there to let go of. And even if I say, but I did let go of that, well, probably got to let go of it completely now. Like, sometimes we
Yeah.
do
There's
have to
layers.
things go and sacrifice certain things in order for the greater things to come.
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
know yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, that's
Yeah.
right. And it's
And
kind of, it can be quite challenging to move towards change, because another thing that has been difficult for a lot of divine masculine too as well is change and the unknown zone.
yeah.
What's unknown. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to a divine masculine friend yesterday, not my DM, but another one, and it was really interesting. He's very, quite conscious, and he said that over the last week he didn't go back into the 3D matrix, but things presented themselves like, a 3D job and some other stuff that he would have just taken for money or something like that. He would have just done it for that type of those old paradigm situations.
hmm
And he said, and I thought about things. He said, but then I realized, no, I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to that sort of
yeah,
life.
it's
And
very tempting
yeah, yeah,
but
and
it is.
and he said to me, he looked me though in the eye, and he said, "But I felt that I needed to have that happen for me to have that deeper realization that, oh my God, I could never go back there." So he had to kind of be presented with it again. So you know how spirit tests us, to see if
Yes.
we've really cleared that out, and it was kind of
Yeah.
like a test for him. Will I jump
Yeah,
back?
to
Like
trust.
it's a
To
job that pays
trust.
well, but it doesn't feed my soul, or it's not what I want to do in my
Yes.
heart. Whilst he's sitting there telling me the other things that he's passionate about, his path that he wants to do, and it's like, oh, do I now leave that and go back for the money, even if it's just for a
hmm
while. But so he saw the bigger picture, and it was a test, and and he passed it and everything. He goes, but now I know once and for all that I just couldn't go back to that life and doing these things that don't feed my soul. He said, because I did it long enough. And
Yes.
no, and I think this is where the masculine, that are awakening are really starting to see that, and
hmm
see that even if they didn't want to, because he was a conscious, he's always been conscious throughout his life, and so is my divine masculine, but they still fall in, like I mentioned last time, they fall into those traps of taking on that masculine template of, I better do this because that's what men do. We've
Yes,
got
and that they're
to
supposed to work hard for
go
it, and
hard, yeah, and we've got to provide
physically
for
hard.
our
Yeah.
family, and all
hmm
that stuff, yeah, all that program conditioning.
Yeah.
that's
That's
embedded.
that Capricorn structure like that. But
Yes.
what they showed me, what's changing with that, which it can be quite a challenge to move into that space, because for centuries jobs have been created, right?
Yes.
Specific
Yeah.
titles and stuff like that. Now, I want you to know that some of you may have already moved out of certain titles or things that you studied in school and so on and so forth. If it is still your passion, if it is still your joy with
Yeah.
what you do with that, then go with it, continue with it, okay? It may mean that you take it to a different level where you're running your own business doing it, or you're connecting with someone else to partner with them that's on a conscious level with it, okay? And there might be a case where you have more than one thing that you want to do. Do all of it. There's no such thing as you can only do one thing. I have done 5 things all at once that I'd be like, wow. But you know what? I don't think about it because I know for me, my soul is always busy, always like in this excitement energy. So, hey, this is how it is. And so as long as I am feeling joy within my heart with what I do, that is how I am successful. That is how I'm prosperous. Okay.
Yes.
So if you find yourself at a crossroad, here's another thing where you're being guided to take up a different career or something. Okay. There's so many different examples that I can give, but it's not the way that it is in society right now. And I'm gonna give you an example. Someone I read for yesterday, she was looking for a job because she has to make money. But she also says that she sings. She also does readings. She also does this. She also does that. So I said to her, well, what if you're the singing tarot reader? What if you're doing it together? That would be quite different, right? I thought about myself and I said, my dream that I've had for myself is where I'm doing speaking, talkings, maybe some live readings, and then Charlize comes on stage and start doing her rapping. You know what I'm saying? Or I switch the tables where she comes on doing rapping and then I start to, because it's different. Don't think that whatever you choose to do, that it has to be the lists that's out there with how your life should be and your career choice should be and so on and so forth. I know that the element of freedom is what we're all desiring and feeling. And so because we're ascending to this different level of consciousness, it doesn't feel right anymore where you're at, okay? It's in the air, as they say. And so that means that if you resist to not move towards the direction of your dharma and where your passion lies, and even if it's not set in stone yet, you create it. You have the power to create something new. We're all bringing in a new type of energy, a new way of how we are prospering or multiplying, or partnering. You see what I'm saying? And that it is fulfilling for you. You know what I'm saying? It's unique to you. It's unique to you. That even if someone says you can't do that, do it anyway, because that means you're on the right track.
Yeah.
See?
And that's even happening with spirits guiding me to bring this up, and I've seen this before. It's happening in the spiritual world in terms of the platforms that people are on and stuff. So it's not going to be anymore like the way it's always been, like it's got to be done this way, it's got to be done that way. It's going to be totally different. And it's kind of like a lot of people follow the same stuff, and it's some people
same thing, and people are finding themselves bored with what they're doing. Also,
yeah,
you're
and
bored.
it's going to be a whole new wave of people just speaking, and us out there, and as in terms of the way of the truth, and it's just going to be very different, is what I've been shown. Very, very different. So yeah, stay tuned. Two very different.
Oh my God. Do you mind if I pause one bit? Because one of my favorite classical music is playing, and this is the Divine Feminine, Carmen. I couldn't help it. I had to stop and I said, oh my gosh. I was an opera singer in a past life, did I tell you? When I uncovered, I was like, say, what?
Are you going to try it now?
My throat just opened wide. Oh my gosh, it's powerful. Yes. We sure feel different than how we did earlier yesterday and today, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I uncovered too about this path, when you keep going through these levels of awakenings, you're gonna find yourself speaking louder, being more I don't want to use the word dramatic, but more alive. Like your soul becomes alive in the physical world because we've been so dead inside. Oh, you got to do it this way, like a robot, 9 to 5 job. Hey, okay, I'm clocking in now. All right, how you been there? Oh, I'm good. All right, and you sit down for how many hours, being more insane. Yeah, right. Okay, remember when I had got that job, and how long did it last, Kelly?
Yeah.
One motherfucking day. My energy was too powerful up in that place. And you know, when I was there, I was still speaking frequencies. Everywhere I go, I do not hold my tongue to who I am and speaking and shifting. Absolutely not. Everywhere I go, there Sharon will speak. You know?
And you
So,
just
but the
gotta
kids
really,
tell me that I sound louder. Huh?
I was gonna say when you were talking before, it's also when you really hit that complete, you just don't give a fuck what people say.
Oh my God, none to give. Yes. That's my type of hallelujah.
Yeah. And that sometimes is a process. You kind of go through that, and then you go through. Oh, okay. You maybe still do care, and then and you still do care. And I heard someone say the other day that I think it was Brene Brown. She said something like, you still, no matter how far you get, you still will always care what some people say. And I'm sitting there listening, going,
Not me.
nah,
Not me.
really don't anymore.
Not Sharon. No, sir.
Go back and forth for a while, but couldn't give 2 fucks now.
And it does. It is a process because there are times when you might give a little fuck here and there. You know what I'm saying? But when you really, really get to that place when you don't completely, that's when you're really moving through a greater level, a higher, dangerous level of freedom. They call it dangerous because they're not used to it. You know what I'm saying? That's the other humans' perceptions who are still disempowering themselves or still wanting to have control over others.
Put the fear in the word danger.
Put the fear, they put the word the dangerous level. You know, even when I look at my kids, especially Brandon. Now, Brandon just really gives no fuck whatsoever. Okay. I mean, no matter what, I could call him all kind of names, nope. He's like, yep, all right, whatever. That's it. And I was like, damn, that's Sharon. So it's like so, like I call it like really detaching from how someone may respond to you, to your path. Even if it means that they say, what's going on with you? Why are you still acting like that? Why are you still talking like that? I said, because it's the truth. If I'm on the twin soul path, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to speak, because when you speak it and you put it out there and it echoes out into the energetic fields, what happens is it starts to shatter that energy, and then they start to become disassociated, and that's when sometimes people will move away from it. But no matter what, whatever you're supposed to say, wherever you're supposed to be, even when you don't speak, you're still breaking down the elements of that old structure. You see,
I'm pretty lucky. I find a lot of people are fascinated when I talk about it. So if they've never heard about it before, like the other day I met somebody in a salon, and she's like, what, because they just ask questions and while you're in there, and I was telling her about my book, and then that led into the whole journey and stuff, and she's just fascinated, and she's like, okay, the website. She said, I don't think I told you about her. She's like looking at my website and said, oh, can I book, I really need a personal development session, like can I book a session, sort of thing. I said, yeah, sure. So I find people are quite fascinated about it, and I think people that know me, family and friends over the years, have just kind of, they don't talk to me much about it because it really is the energy that they don't understand and they don't know. And when I come in with that knowledge and light, they just kind of back away because they just think, well, we couldn't understand or imagine, what it is. So I haven't, I've been lucky that way. I haven't really had a lot of people or anyone say much about it. So.
Yeah, well, I think because we're at a place now where, I would say like in a greater abundance where they're just like shifted away from us anyway. So for me, I've been attracting people into my life that are at my level of consciousness. I've also attracted people that may not necessarily understand my path, but guess what? They feel the love. They feel the
Yes,
light
it's
within
the
me.
love and
You
light. Yeah,
see? Right,
yeah.
exactly. Like
Because
I
they
have,
might not be
yeah,
at your level of consciousness,
exactly.
but they are feeling something from you that
They're
they want to
feeling
gravitate to
something.
the person. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly, exactly. And I find it to be quite fascinating and interesting in a way because I observe the dynamic of human behavior and what it means, how we're moving through different levels of consciousness, different levels of awakening. And
yeah,
in some stages, there's some who may go in and out, and some that may decide they don't desire to want to know, and they go into resistance. But I can tell you this. I've been feeling and witnessing majority of almost everyone that I'm connected to, even if I knew them from I was 10 years young, they're
yeah,
watching. They're watching you. They're paying attention. They're feeling. They're experiencing. They're wanting answers. They may not say anything. They may just be in silence, and it's okay. Okay,
yeah,
because it's not about being right and wrong. It's just being authentic and being your true
yeah,
self, not
yeah,
compromising. Doesn't mean that you have to go into great detail because, to me, I look at it this way, unless you are walking, and I'm speaking for those who are on the twin soul path or the soul flame path, the true love path, that, they say he who feels it knows it. Okay. He who
yeah,
feels it knows it. It's like being able to speak a language that, the person says, oh, I finally met someone that understands. Oh,
yeah,
because I was beginning to think I was crazy. Oh,
yeah,
this one thinks I'm crazy. No, you're not crazy. You see, it's because what they call the norm on earth is,
yeah,
from what people have been used to experiencing, especially when it comes to these relationships.
yeah.
Okay. And so
Yeah,
the new dynamic of these interrelationships is what's bursting through right now,
exactly.
and it's even showing up greater with the children. I'm for the children. I'm for the younger generation because they just got it, you know? You know
Yeah.
what? I have to send you I have to send you a recording with my granddaughter, Akasha. My daughter-in-law, she sent me this recording with Akasha where she was like, God damn it, Remy. I was like, what? I was like, and she's only 2. No, it's like when you hear it when she's like talking to her father through the WhatsApp, and then she was just saying, oh, like how when you're just like, yeah, so God damn it, Remy. And the way she said it, and I'm like, just look at her. And she's just 2, and she's just like the shit. And I was like, and she's nosy like me too. I mean, it's like you talk about a generation that passes on. It's no joke with her. And she was born on 11/22, and her name is Akasha, so she holds that derivative, of the Akashic record. So when
Yeah.
I think about her and how she embodies and balances that divine masculine and divine feminine, energy. And I told my son, I said, you wait, when you have your daughter, she's gonna put you on a whole different level when it comes to connecting to this feminine energy. And you will see the shifts happening with your
Yeah.
children if
Yeah.
they're ascending with you at the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
Now my children don't understand completely everything, but I still tell them the truth. I still bring
Yeah.
forth what it means,
Yeah.
magnetically. And I've noticed how in their school, they are leaders. Like people go to my son Damon for advice, for relationship advice. My daughter Charlize, the same thing, relationship. And it wasn't because I said anything to her. It's just transcending. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And people, like we were saying, they will gravitate and be drawn to someone's frequency and light,
Yes.
for help or guidance or whatever that is. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And many of you will find people just and children and animals just drawn to you because they feel
Yeah.
your light. It's just like the moth to the flame. You might be even attracting, bugs, black crows. I remember that happened when I saw Hope. I was like, what is this? The fucking Birds remake? No, I saw like 100 black crows on my lawn, and I looked it up because it was a metaphysical thing happening. I looked up the meaning, but I was like, well, dang it, wow, I didn't know I was doing the remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
great.
you know, it's fascinating. I've been so used to seeing so many signs and messages, Kelly, that they've kind of died down now. So I'm like, it doesn't mean if you don't see signs that, oh my God, am I doing anything wrong? It's not that. It's just that your soul is still going through sacred alchemy, okay? And
Yeah.
sometimes it happens on an energetic level where you may not necessarily see signs and messages. Some people feel that when you see a lot of signs and messages, that means that, you know, you got more work to do. And this is not working. You know, that's another programming. Oh, you got work to do. You need to work more. And you said, no, just
Yeah.
be yourself. There's no right and wrong to your path. There is no such thing as, oh, I need to do this to get into union. The union energy is an energy that you're creating to come back into that oneness energy, the one Christ energy, you know, what you had already have inherited from your creation by not even your birth, from your creation. And there had been so much programming in place with you dumbing down yourself, you know. If you know you're the bomb and you're the best, you're the fucking bomb and the best, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So you have any last words, my dear, because it's about to cut off again.
No, not really. You were just on a roll there, doing really well. I was just listening.
I'm in such gratitude for us coming on here tonight. Kelly and I will definitely be back on again with more divine messages. Stay in love. Any more words, Kelly? You've got 6 seconds.
No.